So we're back in the car again. Do you like our outfits? We're matching. So, do you want to explain what has happened in the last 3 hours?
You've got it.
Well, it is currently 6:30, and we... What?
You may as well just hold it for this part. Or you can just leave it.
Just leave it?
Yeah.
So, we were supposed to be at a wedding in Iowa City starting at 6:30. So, I got off work at 3:30, picked Ezra up. We dropped the truck off to get the oil changed and the tire changed because there was a flat tire. And they said an hour and a half. And they said an hour. We said they'd be done at 4:30. Oh, we dropped it off at 3. So we thought it'd be done at 4:30. So that's when we were planning to leave Cedar Falls. So we thought we'd have 2 hours to get to the wedding. Then we got there at 4:45, and they said 15 more minutes. So then we went back to the house and got Ezra's, your dad's wallet. When they came back, they said 15 more minutes. So we went and got McDonald's coffee. Then we went back, and they said 15 more minutes. So finally at...
They actually said 10 minutes.
Oh, they said 10 minutes?
Yeah.
That was nice of them. So finally at 5:50, we got the truck.
They were shorthanded.
They were short-handed.
It wasn't their fault.
It wasn't their fault. We witnessed a fighting match in McDonald's.
That was scary.
That was scary.
Just witnessed someone get fun.
Yeah, you kids better never act like that. And then I started crying. I didn't freak out too much today.
No.
I was internally freaking out for a while. The wedding we're going to is Julia. She was my best friend from high school. And I was invited to her bachelorette party, and I couldn't go to her bachelorette party because we ended up getting married that day. She's been engaged for 2 years. Told me this date 2 years ago. Known the date and the time of the wedding for approximately 2 years. And we still can't make it there. But it is not our fault. And I always hold a lot of guilt for that, but God has a plan for us, right?
Yeah.
So we then got on the road and we needed gas, so we stopped at Gilbertville to get gas, and then got a text message from my dad that what is your great grandma Carol is in the hospital and she's in the emergency room. I think she's dehydrated and she's going through chemo right now for stage 3 pancreatic cancer. And so now, instead of going to the reception, we are just going to stop at the hospital. So that's what we're doing. We're on our way to Cedar Rapids. We've been needing to make this video for 3 days now.
Yep.
And we're going to read Job 1 and 2 and John 21. And Ezra gets to be a part of the video because it's the end of John, so he's going to give us his recap of the book of John. Okay, so here we go. Job 1 and 2. I think this is going to be kind of applicable to what has been occurring. So, you ready?
Yeah.
There's been a
CJ.
Columbus Junction. That's where they live. Okay, so Job 1. Oh, let's pray. I'm going to pray. Heavenly Father, I just thank you that we get the opportunity to read your scripture right now. Thank you for providing this book for us so that we can learn about you and your son Jesus. That's what it's about, God. I just pray that we're going where you have planned for us to go, God. And I just pray that we're just able to witness the people around us. And I pray just for peace in our hearts, and especially me. I just need to repent of just my sin of pride, God, and just feeling like we need to look the way that we do and act a certain way, be places on time. And really, my struggle struggle with that. It's just all pride, God. So I just need to repent of that. And I just pray that you keep working on that in my heart and in all of our hearts. And we just have a night that we can just glorify you in your heavenly name. Amen. Okay. Ready?
Yep.
Okay, Job 1. In the land of Uz there lived a man whose name was Job. This man was blameless and upright. He feared God and shunned evil. He had 7 sons and 3 daughters, and he owned 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, 500 yoke of oxen, and 500 donkeys, and had a large number of servants. He was the greatest man among all the people of the East. His sons used to hold feasts in their homes on their birthdays, and they would invite their 3 sisters to eat and drink with them. When a period of feasting had run its course, Job would make arrangements for them to be purified. Early in the morning, he would sacrifice a burnt offering for each of them, thinking, "Perhaps my children have sinned and cursed God in their hearts." This was Job's regular custom. One day, the angels came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan also came with them. The Lord said to Satan, "Where have you come from?" Satan answered the Lord, "From roaring throughout the earth, going back and forth on it." Then the Lord said to Satan, "Have you considered my servant Job? There is no one on earth like him. He is blameless and upright, a man who fears God and shuns evil." "Does Job fear God for nothing?" Satan replied. "Have you not put a hedge around him and his household and everything he has? You have blessed the work of his hands so that his flocks and herds are spread throughout the land. But now stretch out your hand and strike everything he has, and he will surely curse you to your face." The Lord said to Satan, "Very well then, everything he has is in your power, but on the man himself do not lay a finger." Then Satan went out from the presence of the Lord. One day when Job's sons and daughters were feasting and drinking wine at the oldest brother's house, a messenger came to Job and said, "The oxen were plowing and the donkeys were grazing nearby, and the Sabeans attacked and made off with them. They put the servants to the sword, and I am the only one who has escaped to tell you." While he was still speaking, another messenger came and said, "The fire of God fell from the heavens and burned up the sheep and the servants, and I am the only one who has escaped to tell you." While he was still speaking, another messenger came and said, "The Chaldeans formed 3 raiding parties and swept down on your camels and made off with them. They put the servants to the sword, and I am the only one who has escaped to tell you." While he was still speaking, yet another messenger came and said, "Your sons and daughters were feasting and drinking wine at the oldest brother's house when suddenly a mighty wind swept in from the desert and struck the 4 corners of the house. It collapsed on them, and they are dead, and I am the only one who has escaped to tell you." At this, Job got up and tore his robe and shaved his head. Then he fell to the ground and worshipped and said, "Naked I come from my mother's womb, and naked I will depart. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. May the name of the Lord be praised." In all this, Job did not sin by charging God with wrongdoing. Job 2. On another day, the angels came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan also came with them to present himself before him. And the Lord said to Satan, "Where have you come from?" Satan answered the Lord, "From roaming throughout the earth, going back and forth on it." Then the Lord said to Satan, "Have you considered my servant Job? There is no one on earth like him. He is blameless and upright, a man who fears God and shuns evil. And he still maintains his integrity, though you incited me against him to ruin him without any reason." "Skin for skin," Satan replied. "A man will give all he has for his own life, but now stretch out your hand and strike his flesh and bones, and he will surely curse you to your face." The Lord said to Satan, "Very well then, he is in your hands, but you must spare his life." So Satan went out from the presence of the Lord and afflicted Job with painful sores, from the soles of his feet to the crown of his head. Then Job took a piece of broken pottery and scraped himself with it as he sat among the ashes. His wife said to him, "Are you still maintaining your integrity? Curse God and die." He replied, "You are talking like a foolish woman. Shall we accept good from God and not trouble?" In all this, Job did not sin in what he said. When Job's 3 friends, Eliphaz the Temanite, Bildad the Shuhite, and Zophar the Naamathite, heard about all the troubles that had come upon him, they set out from their homes and met together by agreement to go and sympathize with him and comfort him. When they saw him from a distance, they could hardly recognize him. They began to weep aloud, and they tore their robes and sprinkled dust on their heads. Then they sat on the ground with him for 7 days and 7 nights. No one said a word to him because they saw how great his suffering was. And that's Job 1 and 2. Now we're going to read John 21. It was John 21, right? Afterward, Jesus appeared again to his disciples by the Sea of Galilee. It happened this way. Simon Simon Peter, Thomas, also known as Didymus, Nathanael from Cana in Galilee, the sons of Zebedee, and 2 other disciples were together. "I'm going out to fish," Simon Peter told them, and they said, "We'll go with you." So they went out and got into the boat, but that night they caught nothing. Early in the morning, Jesus stood on the shore, but the disciples did not realize that it was Jesus. He called out to them, "Friends, haven't you any fish?" "No," they answered. He said, "Throw your net on the right side of the boat, and you will find some." When they did, they were unable to haul the net in because of the large number of fish. Then the disciple whom Jesus loved said to Peter, "It is the Lord." As soon as Simon Peter heard him say, "It is the Lord," he wrapped his outer garment around him, for he had taken it off, and jumped into the water. The other disciples followed in the boat, towing the net full of fish, for they were not far from the shore, about 100 yards. When they landed, they saw a fire of burning coals there with fish on it and some bread. Jesus said to them, "Bring some of the fish you have just caught." So Simon Peter climbed back into the boat and dragged the net ashore. It was full of large fish, 153. But even with so many, the net was not torn. Jesus said to them, "Come and have breakfast." None of the disciples dared to ask him, "Who are you?" They knew it was the Lord. Jesus came, took the bread, and gave it to them, and did the same with the fish. This was now the 3rd time Jesus appeared to his disciples after he was raised from the dead. When they had finished eating, Jesus said to Simon Peter, "Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these?" "Yes, Lord," he said. "You know that I love you." Jesus said, "Feed my lambs." Again, Jesus said, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" He answered, "Yes, Lord, you know that I love you." Jesus said, "Take care of my sheep." The 3rd time he said to him, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" Peter was hurt because Jesus asked him the 3rd time, "Do you love me?" He said, "Lord, you know all things. You know that I love you." Jesus said, "Feed my sheep. Very truly I tell you, when you were younger, you dressed yourself and went where you wanted. But when you are old, you will stretch out your hands, and someone else will dress you and lead you where you do not want to go." Jesus said this to indicate the kind of death by which Peter would glorify God. Then he said to him, "Follow me." Peter turned and saw that the disciple whom Jesus loved was following them. This was the one who had leaned back against Jesus at the supper and had said, "Lord, who is going to betray you?" When Peter saw him, he asked, "Lord, what about him?" Jesus answered, "If I want him to remain alive until I return, what is that to you? You must follow me." Because of this, the rumor spread among the believers that this disciple would not die, but Jesus did not say that he would not die. He only said, "If I want him to remain alive until I return, what is that to you?" This is the disciple who testifies to these things and who wrote them down. We know that his testimony is true. Jesus did many other things as well. If every one of them were written down, I suppose that even the whole world would not have room for the books that would be written. And that's the end of John 21.
So what do you think of John?
There's your father.
What did you think of
Children,
John?
I am your father.
You can't quote that because you've never even seen it.
That's true.
She hasn't seen Star Wars.
I almost bought him a shirt today at Old Navy. It had a picture of Darth Vader's face and it said, "#1 Dad." Like, you're not a dad
such
yet.
a weirdo.
I thought I'd save it until you were a dad.
Yeah.
But the problem is that they only had extra small. And you're not an extra small, I'm sorry. He's a triple extra large. So, well, what I think of John,
It's pretty different than the other Gospels, eh?
it is different. Because doesn't John share the parables? And John also is really, it's really told from a story standpoint, right?
Yeah, John, in the beginning of John, he says that, he's not writing this down. He's not writing every work Jesus did down. He's not necessarily writing it in order even.
Yeah.
It's just a collection of different miracles that Jesus did that really proves that he's the Messiah. That's the whole book of John, is to prove that Jesus is the Messiah and the Christ. So,
Yeah.
I think he really did that in the book of John. So there's the 3 synoptic Gospels, and those are Matthew, Mark, and Luke. And we're about to start Luke. We've read Matthew and Mark together.
Yeah.
And those are really similar, but John is
Yeah.
radically different. So.
Yeah, it is.
But it's different because John isn't writing it from necessarily this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened point of view. He's writing it from, these are some of the things that Jesus did that proved that he was the Messiah, the true King of Kings, Lord of Lords, creator of the universe. So that's why John starts by saying, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God.
And the Word was God.
That's right. So, John's a great book.
That is. Thank you.
Yeah.
Isn't he amazing? Jesus, not him. I'm just kidding.
It's true.
He's amazing.
I'm alright.
He's a sinner just like everyone else. Right.
Made righteous through the blood of Christ.
That's right.
Not like everyone else.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Not everyone is made righteous. That's correct.
Through the blood of Christ, yeah.
Do you think most people know that we're making a YouTube video right now?
No. I was asking Chelsea, I was like, are we YouTubers now? But we get 0 views on our videos, so I think that makes us
because we don't know how to
not.
cut our videos normal, like, you know. But the
No,
one thing,
it's the reason we get 0 views is because we're not promoting this.
right? Because I don't want people to know about it.
I tried to bring,
Only you kids can know about this.
I tried to bring this up at what would be your grandparents' house. Grandma and Grandpa Zerback, and it was to Uncle Aiden. That's weird to say. Aiden's 16 right now. But anyway, bringing it up to Aiden, and Chelsea like shushed me. You were really
Yeah,
defensive.
because I don't want people to know about it. It's just for us. It's just for our family.
That's why it's on the public web, because it's just for us.
Should I take it down as public? I should put it as private.
You
I'll
could.
do that. I'll do that. Then nobody can find it. Okay. Well, what do you think of Job?
I think you should leave it on public.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just because, what if someone just so happened that we don't even know runs into it and they just listen to some scripture? I don't know. I think that it could be good for someone random across the world. Maybe not.
I think you're right. You're right.
You never know.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, this is day 24, which is supposed to be for July 4th, 2017. So this was actually the video that was supposed to be made on July 4th.
You didn't make a video on July 4th?
No, I didn't.
You are not an American.
Sorry. We're making it on July 7th. We're 3 days late. That's okay. Okay. Well, that's it. When we finish Job, then, or James, I think James actually finishes first. And your papa will be back.
Or next
Okay.
time we're in the car.
Mwah. Bye-bye. Love you.
See ya.